At this juncture, we want to look at the nutritional profile of principal foods. You are welcome to today's class. Let's look at nutritional profiles of principal foods, still in discussion, continuation of our discussion on human nutrition. When planning balanced diet, it is important to know what foods are available according to origin, approximate chemical composition, predominant function, and how to combine them to increase nutritive value. This is because each food has different nutritional profile, and an intake of different types of food is desired to achieve optimum health. We will quickly look at cereals and millets. Cereals and millets. So let's start with cereals. Cereals, example, rice and wheat. They constitute the bulk of the daily diet. Rice is the staple food of more than half the human race. And next to rice is wheat, which is the most important cereal. Maize ranks next to rice and wheat in the world consumption. So maize is also used as food for cattle and poultry because it is rich in fat, besides being cheaper than rice or wheat. Cereals are the main sources of energy, that is carbohydrates. They also contribute significant quantities of proteins, 6 to 12%. They also contribute minerals and B group vitamins. Now, the yellow variety of maize contains significant amounts of carotene. In terms of energy, cereals provide 350 kilocalories per 100 grams, and this is considering the large amounts in which they are consumed. Cereals contribute 70 to 80% of the total energy intake and more than 50% of protein intake in a typical African diet. Cereal proteins are poor in nutritive quality, that is in nutritive quality, being deficient in essential amino acid and also lysine. Now let us look at rice. Rice is a staple food of more than half the human race. The rice grain consists of three parts: the germ, which is known as embryo, the inner endosperm, and the outer pericarp and alluring grain layer. We will see the effect of milling. Rice. The milling process deprives the rice grain of its valuable nutritive elements. And what elements are we talking about? Thiamine, riboflavin, and protein. It deprives the rice grain of these valuable nutritive elements when they are milled. The losses may be up to 15% of protein, 75% of thiamine, and 60% of riboflavin and niacin. So the resulting white or polished rice, although attractive in appearance, is poor in nutritive value. How about in cases when this rice is washed and cooked? So let's look at the effect of washing and cooking of rice. The rice grain is subjected to further loss of essential nutrients during the process of washing and cooking. So washing in large quantities of water would remove up to 60% of the water-soluble vitamins and minerals. So the practice of cooking rice in large quantities of water and draining away the excess of water at the end of cooking leads to further loss of the B group vitamins. As a result, the combined effect of washing and cooking may affect seriously the nutritive value of rice. It is therefore best to cook rice in just enough water, that is, about 2 measures of water for 1 measure of rice. That will be all about rice. Let us now look at wheat. Next to rice, wheat is the most important cereal. The wheat grain is much less subjected to loss of essential nutrients during processing than rice. The whiter the flour, the greater the loss of vitamins and minerals. Thus, whole grain wheat flour is a richer source of vitamin B than the refined white flour. So the processed one is not best compared to the whole grain wheat flour. So the whole grain wheat flour is richer in nutrients and better off compared to the processed white flour. Let's look at maize. Maize, also known as corn or butter. It ranks next to rice and wheat in the world consumption, and in certain areas it is the principal source of protein and energy, and in fact both. It is also used as a food for cattle and poultry. The yellow variety of maize contains significant amount of carotenoid pigments. Maize is fairly rich in fat, and maize is also used in the manufacture of breakfast foods such as cornflakes. Maize flour or corn flour is widely used in the preparation of custards and table desserts. The next is the pulses. Let's look at the pulses, which is also known as legumes. Pulses comprise a variety of grams, also known as dals, and most commonly eaten pulses are the Bengal gram, red gram, green gram, and black gram. Under it, we shall be seeing soya beans. The soya beans is the richest among all pulses. It contains about 40% of protein, 20% of fat, and 4% of mineral. 40% of protein, 20% of fat, and 4% of minerals. The proteins of soya beans are of relatively high nutritive value. The limiting amino acid is methionine. Soya bean can be cooked and eaten as dal. It can be tried in other forms like mixing its powder with atta for chapatis, soya bean milk and curd, and in baby foods. So soya bean is yet to become popular in some part of the world. Like in India, it is not popular. In Nigeria, it is popular, and some other African countries. Despite the many years of publicity, countries like India is yet to accept it as a popular food. Next, number 3 is vegetable. So we have looked at pulses, which is number 2, and we have also discussed cereals and millets, which is number 1. So let's see number 3 now, vegetables. Vegetables are classed as protective foods. Their value resides in their high vitamin and mineral content. Some vegetables are also good resources or good sources of protein. Vegetables usually have a large water content, low energy and protein content, and varying amounts of dietary fiber. So vegetables are divided into 3 groups. You have the green leaves, roots and tubers, and others. So they are divided, like I told you, into 3 groups. You have the green leaves, roots and tubers, and other vegetables. Number 4, let us see nuts and oil seeds. So we have seen pulses, we have seen vegetables. Now let's move to nuts and oil seeds. Nuts and oil seeds. Included in this group are the groundnuts, that's your peanut, cashew nuts, coconut, walnuts, almonds, pistachio, mustard seeds, sesame seeds, cotton seeds, sunflower seeds, maize germ, and many others from which cooking oils are extracted. So nuts and oil seeds contain good amount of fat and good quality protein in a relatively small bulk. Regarding the fat content, walnuts contain 64.5%, almonds contain 58.7%, cashew nut consists of 46.9%, and groundnut consists of 40%. Peanuts, which is known as your groundnut butter, is a very valued article to the diet, Regarding protein content, groundnut tops the list with 26.7%. So that is that. So most of the vegetable oils are rich in essential fatty acids after oil extraction. In the case of some, the residue oilseed cake can be formulated into acceptable foods rich in protein. So take note about that. It's very important that you know that. However, peanuts for human consumption should be thoroughly dried and properly stored to avoid the growth of Aspergillus flavus, which produces aflatoxin, which is not good for the body. Number 5, let us look at fruits. Number 5, let us look at food. Remember, we are still talking about nutritional profiles of principal foods. Number 5, fruits. Fruits are protective foods. They are invaluable in human nutrition because they are good sources of vitamins and minerals. Now, one special feature which distinguishes fruits from other foods is that they can be eaten raw and fresh. And this makes the vitamins and minerals present in fruits easily available. In terms of nutritive value, number 1, vitamins. These fruits are prized for their vitamins. Most fruits contain significant amounts of ascorbic acid. The orange, guava, and other fruits like the amla are particularly rich in ascorbic acid. So let's see number 2, minerals. We are talking about nutritive value now in terms of fruits. Number 2, minerals. Fruits are good sources of minerals, especially sodium and potassium. Some fruits like citifal, that is your custard apple, and are rich in calcium. Some fruits like citifal, your custard apple, are really rich in calcium. So dried foods like raisins, dates, and apricots are good sources of calcium and iron. So fruits also contain a great variety of organic acids which are responsible for the sources of unripe fruits. So the intake of fruits leads to an alkaline urine. Let's see number 3, carbohydrates. In terms of nutritional value now under fruits, carbohydrates. Fruits in general have a low energy value, but some fruits like banana and mango contain good amounts of carbohydrates and can act as good source of energy. Pectin, a kind of sugar present in fruits like guavas, is helpful in preparation of fruit jellies. Number 4, let's see cellulose. Fruit contains cellulose which assists in normal bowel movements. Okay, so that's all about fruits that is important. So let us see animal foods. Number 6, animal foods. We are still talking from the principal foods, the nutritional value. Don't forget, we are looking at the nutritional profile of principal foods. Now, animal foods. Foods of animal origin include meat, poultry, fish, eggs, milk, and dairy products, and they provide high quality protein, that is containing all the essential amino acids and good amounts of fat besides some vitamins and minerals. The vitamin B12 is one of the rare nutrients found only in animal foods. Since they are expensive, animal foods are consumed in small amounts in most developing countries. Even small amounts of animal foods add considerably to the nutritive value of the diet. So among animal foods, cow's milk, hen's egg are perhaps nature's 2 most nearly perfect foods. Under the animal food, let us see milk. Milk is the best and most complete of all foods. It is secreted by the animals to serve as the sole and wholesome food for their sucking young ones. It is a fine blend of all the nutrients necessary for growth and development of the young ones. Thus, milk, as a result, milk is a good source of proteins, fats, sugar, vitamins, and mineral. In milk, you will find protein, you will find fat, you will find sugar, you will find minerals. And it's important that you take note of all this. Milk is a good source of all vitamins except vitamin C. Milk is a good source of all vitamins except vitamin C. So human and animal milks are good, but then in comparison, you know that that of the animal milk is far richer. So let's look at that. It's very important. But if you look at them, for example, for that of the animals, the human has 3.4 grams of fat, and you can see in goat and cow and buffalo it is higher. You can also, you should also understand that in terms of lactose, the human source in milk is much, much higher. And also, when it comes to water, that of the human has more amount of water compared to those of the animal. But when it comes to energy in kilocalories, the buffalo has higher compared to the next is the goat, next is the cow, and then next is the human. So that is that about milk. And so number 7, we will now be looking at fats and oil. Fats and oils. Good cooking demands liberal use of oils and fats. Fats which are liquid at room temperature are called oils. And fats and oils are good sources of energy and fat-soluble vitamins. The fats of animal origin are poor sources of essential fatty acids. So those of vegetable origin are rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, excepting coconuts and palm oils. So the vegetable oils contains no vitamin A and D. The vegetable oils contain no vitamin A and D except for red palm oil, which is extremely rich in carotene. The next, number 8, is sugar. Sugar and jaggery. These are carbohydrate foods, and sugar is produced from sugar cane and from sugar beets elsewhere. Refined sugar is pure sucrose and contains no other nutrients. Refined sugar is pure sucrose and contains no other nutrients. Jaggery is prepared from sugar cane in India and other parts of the world and is consumed in place of sugar. It contains useful amounts of carotene and iron derived from cooking pans. Honey consists of about 75% sugars, mostly fructose and glucose. The popularly known honey consists of about 75% sugars and mostly fructose and glucose. So I'd like to stop here, and I hope that you have gained one or two. Ensure to take your notes. Do not forget. Remember, or perhaps we just add condiments and spices. These are your normal garlic, cloves, ginger, mustard, pepper, and tamarind. You can call that number 9, condiments and spices. Like I mentioned, garlic, cloves, ginger, mustard, pepper, and so on. And then number 10, lastly, your miscellaneous, which includes beverages, coffee, tea, cocoa, soft drinks, alcoholic beverages. All these are part of number 10, the miscellaneous. So your coffee, tea, cocoa. You also have your soft drinks, alcoholic beverages, your vinegar, and so on. So that's that. Thank you. We have just concluded on the topic of nutritional profiles of principal foods under human nutrition. I hope you took your notes and take your time to, go through them, listen again and again, and you can read up using your personal textbooks to get more lessons. And remember to ask your question on the Google Classroom. Thank you. At this juncture, we want to look at the nutritional profile of principal foods. You are welcome to today's class. Let's look at nutritional profiles of principal foods. Still in discussion, continuation of our discussion